gold and silver prices have dramatically pulled back from their recent all-time highs. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why this shouldn't bother you in the slightest, and how, if it does, how you can train yourself to act more rationally so that when pullbacks like this happen, which they will, you're less likely to behave irrationally and cost yourself even more money. I'm making this video so that future and current investors in precious metals can behave correctly and set the correct expectations when investing in these assets. Purely because I see too many of my clients and too many people investing in precious metals have absolute breakdowns when prices pull back, especially if they've recently purchased. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Steph. I'm from alatheos.com. And what we do is help people, businesses, and super funds invest over $50,000 into precious metals. I make these videos for everybody under that $50,000 threshold purely because I absolutely love the industry, and I reckon everybody should have at least some precious metals in their portfolio. So why do people panic when prices fall? Well, it's really simple. They think they've lost money. When we invest in precious metals, and this is something that I want to really strongly showcase and strongly emphasize, when we invest in precious metals, we are not in the business or not in the goal of trying to make money. When we buy precious metals, it is the ultimate insurance. It is nobody else's liability. When people come in, some of my clients, investors in precious metals, just in general, when people come in and they purchase precious metals, especially when they've bought near an all-time high and prices pull back, what you find is that people tend to get skittish. Oh, was this a scam? Did I pick the wrong time? I told you gold or silver was a scam. These thoughts go in their head because they have set the wrong expectations. They went into these assets in an attempt to buy it at a lower price and then later on sell it at a higher price. When we set expectations like these, we tend to behave irrationally when stuff doesn't go our way. This is the whole business of hedge funds and price action. It's to shake out the weak hands, to add liquidity so the big boys can get in and buy it up or short it back down, one or the other. Now, mostly it's done by computers and bots and algorithms. But the exact same thing happens with stocks. I'll give you an example. If you know everything about everything in regards to garbage companies, and there's a publicly listed garbage company that you've audited, you've looked through their entire books, you know the business back to front, and you believe that this business is extremely undervalued. This business is extremely undervalued by your considerations and your expertise because you know the industry like the back of your hand. If this stock, for example, should be priced at $50 and is currently priced at 30, and you purchase it because you've done a discounted cash flow or whatever analysis you've done, and you decide it's undervalued and you purchase. Are you then sad that the same stock, which is a healthy company that is doing extremely well, that is overlooked by the entire financial system because it's boring, like gold and silver, because they're boring, it's not a flashy tech company or something like that, it's overlooked, the price goes down from 30 to 15. Are you then sad and think, oh, yep, it was clearly a scam? I was completely wrong. All the analysis I've done, chuck it out the window. It's time to panic and it's time to sell everything. Like the great Warren Buffett said, when shit hits the fan, you want to panic sell and get out of the market completely. Right? No, of course not. You'd look at that and you'd go, oh my God, my favorite company is half price. I can't believe it. I know this company should be worth 50, but in the short term, because prices in shorter term periods are irrational, in the short term, it has decreased in price well below its intrinsic or fair value. The exact same thing occurs with gold and silver. Now, in my personal opinion, if you can trade something like money or currency that everybody knows today, the cash that you use or the bank deposits that you've got in your bank account, if you can trade something which has no real intrinsic value for something like literal precious metals, gold and silver, literal precious metals, if you can change something that's worthless for something that's worth something at any price, it's worth it. Every single time, it is worth it. Short-term irrationalities in the market are negligible in the long term. And we will go through examples and I'll show you specific examples of how in the long term, it doesn't matter what short-term prices and short-term drops occur. What matters is the long term. So I'm going to explain to you the expectations that you've got to have when you buy these assets, because the idea that you're going to buy an asset at this low price and sell it at this price, especially with assets like gold and silver, is the complete wrong thought process that you should be having. Completely wrong. So when I get clients that come in, I found that most of my job or most of my time comes into re-educating them and literally rewiring their brain so they understand and have the correct expectations. Because when you set your expectations correctly, especially when investing, it's a superpower, because then your actions in the future and your thoughts in the future, which affect your actions, you become more rational, you become more level-headed, and you stop doing stupid things. And that can save you a boatload of money when you don't act stupid. You'd be surprised how much money you can save when you don't act stupid. So we need to set the correct expectations when we're buying gold and silver. And they are that your gold and gold and silver and buying gold and silver and physical precious metals. It's a very specific here. Physical precious metals. When you buy these products, your goal is not to make money. We're not here to make money. We're here to preserve wealth outside of the financial system with assets that are nobody else's liabilities. That's it. We're not here to make money. We're not here to get rich, right? You don't get rich buying precious metals unless you buy a metric shit ton. And I'm talking millions of dollars, millions upon millions. And even then, the gains you've seen have only been your currency being devalued. You're just protecting your wealth. So when you come in and you buy gold and silver through me or through another reputable dealer, I don't want my customers especially to come in with the expectation to make money or to get rich. You're not going to be driving Lambos. You need to be honest with yourself. Buying 50 grand worth of silver or 50 grand worth of gold in 1,000 years, right? It'll still be 50 grand worth of silver or gold. Say if it was 10 ounces of gold, it'll still be 10 ounces of gold. You're not going to be buying Lambos with that in a year or two. Please. Social media has rotted your brain completely. We're here to preserve and store our wealth in assets that are no one else's financial liability. Everybody can go bankrupt. It's still yours. That's the point. That and that alone is the point. And when you come in to the industry as a first-time buyer with these expectations, you've already succeeded. You've already succeeded. Because now you understand that I'm going to buy this asset and forget about it. Go enjoy life. Go and have a picnic. I don't know. Do something. Stop staring at charts all day. The only reason I stare at it is because I have to. It's as simple as that. There's no point in staring at charts. Oh my God, gold's down to 5,000 from 5,400. Who cares? Who cares? It's a short-term pullback. The thing could go down by 50% for the next 10 years. That's not the point. We're here to buy these assets because if shit hits the fan, right? And pardon my language, I'm so passionate about this because people come in with the wrong expectations. If shit hits the fan and governments go bankrupt, right? You're going to be fine because you have real money. Who cares what the price is? It could be $10 or infinite if the currency fails. Who cares? You've stored your wealth in something that has actual value. In 1,000 years, do you think the US dollar will exist? Probably not. In 100,000 years, if humans still exist, the modern idea of the city-states that we've got in front of us, do you think they will exist? Do you think their currencies will exist? No. What will exist? Gold and silver. It's that simple. There's nothing else to it. You're buying an asset because it'll stay the same. 1 ounce of gold today, or say if I've got 50 kilos of silver in my personal stack, right, just a rough example. If I've got 50 kilos, when I'm 90, those 50 kilos of silver are still going to be 50 kilos of silver. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with the Australian dollar. I can almost guarantee you that it won't be worth as much as it is today. That's about it. And that's the trade we're trying to make. That's the only trade you're trying to make. So please, when you come in and you purchase in precious metals, I don't want people to come in trying and thinking they're going to get rich. They found some new silver or gold bullet. It's not going to happen. Do you know how you get rich? You work really hard It's something that matters, that people want. That's it. This whole idea, and I've noticed it especially with my lower ticket clients, with the guys that are spending hundreds and hundreds of thousand, as opposed to guys spending 50,000 or slightly above that. The guys with the most money have the correct expectations. How do you think they made the money? Because they had the correct beliefs and expectations. Life is risky. Buying gold or silver won't assure you. And no matter how much I say that, people will still think that. I say it on my other videos and my advertisements to get clients so that I can educate them later. We're not trying to make money. We're not trying to trade. For the love of God, if you wanted to trade, put your money on an exchange or a broker and lose your money that way. Most guys, 99% of traders lose their money. Do it. But if you want to buy physical precious metals, do not ask me about if it's a good time to buy. I have no goddamn idea. None. No clue. Couldn't tell you. I work in the industry. I have no idea. None. I have no idea what price of gold will be tomorrow. But in 10 years from now, I can almost bet that it'll be more. In 50 years from now, I can almost assure you that it'll be more. In 100 years from now, I don't even know you'd be able to buy gold with Australian dollars. Play the long game. Play the long game. That's it. The last thing that you've got to consider, and which is something that I mention to my clients, and it's the exit strategy that they want to have. I deal with older clients as well as younger clients. For my older clients, I typically recommend a higher allocation of gold and a smaller allocation of silver because gold's price is less volatile than silver's price. Typically gold's price tends to fluctuate less, so its risk or standard deviation of return is less. I mean, in the last couple of years, it hasn't been, but because it's gone so far up, generally that's the case. But I have friends who have purchased precious metals wishing to hold it for only a year, right? And I said only a year, right? I'm talking about decade cycles here. You need to change your expectation to longer term because then again, you act more rationally. So I have friends who have purchased gold and silver because they had cash 5 years ago that they left in their safe that they never used. And they wanted to invest in precious metals because they had seen the price go up and they want to ride the trend and then sell it for a profit later. And I had to tell him, whoa, hold on. You've got the wrong expectations. He asked me, do you think gold and silver will be higher next year? And I told him the truth. I've got no idea. I've got zero clue about what price gold and silver will be next year. None. Couldn't tell you in 5 years. Couldn't tell you. No clue. He was a bit disappointed by this because he thought I knew all like a genie. It's not the case. I know very little. And I had to educate him the way I had spoken. I had the exact same conversation that I had mentioned, all those words that I had mentioned previously in earlier in this video. And he still didn't seem to comprehend or understand. Maybe that's my fault because I didn't explain it as simply as I should have. But eventually he came around and he understood. He still decided to place the trade and he's expecting to sell it within a year. And he's willing to take the risk. I told him the risks associated with it, that maybe prices will be lower than what you had before. Maybe you might be better off in cash than in gold or silver in a 1 year time frame. I don't know. I believe it'll go up in the next year. That's just my personal expectation, but I have no real understanding of that. It's based on futures contracts and derivatives on the exchange. It's all fake anyway. If you've got an exit strategy that is too short term, it becomes very difficult to act rationally because he found it was very difficult and he was deciding, should I put the money in? Should I not? I'm not sure. Do you see how easy it is to become irrational when you shorten your time horizon? When your time horizon is extremely short, you behave irrationally. And this is why I told him, I'm like, just buy the stuff and forget about it. Oh, but I might need the cash. Then why are you buying gold or silver with it then? If you need the cash, have the cash. You need to keep the cash on you, right? If you're an adult, you need to have, way more cash. The older you are, the higher your cash position should be, just in case if shit hits the fan or anything goes wrong. But if you can allocate a percentage of your wealth, which is what I believe that this industry is for and what I am here for, if you can allocate a percentage of your wealth within precious metals, something that you can buy and then forget about, I would highly recommend it. I would highly recommend it because then you come to me with the correct expectations already. The battery's included, and we can jump ship straight away. And you won't buzz my phone if prices go down by 3%. Because it happens. I hope this video was helpful. I apologize for swearing, but I get really passionate about this because I really believe that this is the cornerstone of how you invest in precious metals. You start with yourself. Behave as if gold and silver, and treat gold and silver as if they should be treated. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week. See you later.